welcome to video 9 of Launch, our video series that's taking you from having an idea to launching a business. We are proudly brought to you with the support of Western Downs Regional Council and a whole bunch of other humans who are stoked to see young people building businesses that matter. Now, we're getting to the fun part, but kind of the pointy part as well, because you've got an idea, you've got your business models canvas that you've built out as well, but where do you find the money to launch the idea? So what we're going to talk about for this really short video is funding and a couple of ways that you can get it, because we do need a little bit of cash to bankroll an idea. Now, the first thing I want to chat about is that we want to launch quick and dirty first, okay? So we want a minimum viable product. And an MVP is a version of your product with just enough features to be usable by your early customers. And basically, you can use them to provide feedback so that you can pivot the idea and make it better. The idea of an MVP is that we're not going deep in $10,000 of debt before we've made sure that the market actually wants our idea. And so what we need to think about first is, what's our level 1 MVP? So basically, what is the cheapest, fastest way to get your first customer? What I'd love for you to do now is think about, if you had $100, how could you start your business and get your first customer? I want to give the example of, say, Tim's t-shirts. Now, Tim's got this cool idea to print these t-shirts that have got these hand-drawn designs of animals on them. And he donates a portion of his profits to his favorite wildlife foundation that are doing some incredible work. Now, he's only got $100 to start his business. So what does he do with that $100? Well, his level 1 MVP is to throw up a website, take some photos, digital mock-ups of what his t-shirts will look like, and put them on the website with Shopify attached. He waits for a customer to jump on that website and purchase his t-shirt before he makes it. So for less than $100, he's got a website up, he's got Shopify attached, and he's ready for his first customer. And then he makes his product once his customers purchase his t-shirts. So I want to give you, say, 10 minutes now. What could you do for less than $100 to get your first customer? Have a chat to your team or the people around you and work out what your level 1 MVP is. All right, you've nailed your level 1 MVP. We're now going to scale up and think about what our level 2 launch might be. And a level 2 launch is, how can we make a little bit more cost-effective way to get more product to more customers? Now, what I want you to think about is, if you had $1,000, what would you do? Now, let's go back to Tim's t-shirts. He has nailed level 1, and it's really important that you nail level 1 and get your first customer before you move up to level 2. So he's ready for level 2 because he's had 20 plus purchases from his website for his t-shirts. Now he's got $1,000 to play with from those sales. What does he do with it? Well, what he does is he actually invests in buying $500 of product and getting a license to go to his local market. And he takes those 50 shirts along to his local market, and he actually spruiks his wares and tries to sell his t-shirts in person to his community. Now, success on that level 2 would be selling out of his product on that day, or selling a bunch of those t-shirts. And he would need to have success at level 2 before he moved on to level 3. Level 2 not going so well would mean not selling a shirt at all, which is really great feedback for Tim, because then he can work out, is it the t-shirts? Is it how much he's charging? What's the barrier to his customers purchasing his product? So I want to throw to you right now, what could you do with $1,000? What would be the next level up for launching your product or service? So Tim's gone along to his market. Actually, he's done 3 or 4 markets, and he's been super successful. He sold 20 t-shirts in his first market. He sold 30 t-shirts in his second market, and he sold out all 50 shirts in his third market. So he's ready to level up again. And so level 3, where you're operating as a business, is, what is the best way to get the best product to many customers? And so this is where Tim needs to think about scale. So he might start to approach some local retailers and ask them to actually stock his product. He might put some more designs on his website and buy them in bulk in advance so that they can be shipped straight out when people purchase them. What we're starting to think about now is, if we've got regular customers and people coming in all the time, What's the cheapest way for us to get our cost per unit down in order to increase our profits and the efficiency of our business? I want to go back to level 1 because why is it important to go through the process of a level 1 MVP into a level 2 scale before you look at your fully fledged business? Well, it's important for credibility, it's important for traction, and it's important for proof of concept. Because when you've got these 3 things, then you're more likely to be able to access funding to level up. Now, these couple of things that we're going to step through now around sponsorships and grants and crowdfunding are great ways for you to use the credibility, traction, and proof of concept that you've gotten from launching your MVP in order to get access to more cash to get bigger. And the first thing I want to talk about is sponsorships. Now, a sponsorship is money that is given usually by a company to support a person, an activity, or an organization. There are 2 types of sponsors typically. The first is someone who wants to see you succeed, so perhaps they're invested in you as a person. And the second one is someone who's vested in your solution, so they're really interested in making sure that your solution succeeds. What I'd love for you to have a think about is who are the people around you who'd be really keen to see your business idea succeed, either for you or because your solution is really important. And these are the people to approach to see if they can give you a small injection of cash to cover your startup costs and launch your business. We're going to give you 10 minutes now. Ideate 5 to 10 companies or perhaps individuals, think friends and family or other people that are close to you that might want to back your idea financially. A sponsorship could be $100 here or it could be $1,000 there, but try and amass a list of people that might want to back you or back your idea. We're going to give you 10 minutes. The next way to access funding is through grants. A grant is an amount of money normally given by perhaps the government to a person or organisation. Now, there's lots of different grants that exist. Now, they can exist on a local level and also on a national level. If you head to your Western Downs Regional Council website, you can access a host of really current information about grant opportunities that are in your area. You can also jump on Google and search grants for young people or grants for small businesses. We're going to give you 5 to 10 minutes now and have a bit of a research both using the Western Downs Regional Council website and also Google to see if there are any grants that might apply to you or to your idea. The next way that you can access funding is through crowdfunding. Now, crowdfunding is the practice of funding a project or venture by raising money from a large number of people who contribute a relatively small amount of money, typically via the internet. One really huge platform where you can look at lots of crowdfunding campaigns is Kickstarter. So you can jump on there and see lots of different projects that people have posted, how much they need to raise, what people can get for pledging money, and how many pledges they have backing their project. Another example is also Start Some Good, and there's a couple of really cool examples of young people that have crowdfunded here. The first one is Tanika, who needed to raise some money to get her first round of socks manufactured. She wanted to raise, I think, $7,000. She ended up raising over $10,000, and what she did was pre-sell her socks via her campaign. The next example I've got is Michaela, and only very recently she launched a campaign to raise the money to get her first round of keychains. She smashed her target in 6 days and raised the funds that she needed to manufacture her keychains to go to her first local market. I want to give you 10 minutes now. Have a look at the Start Some Good page or the Kickstarter page and kind of see what people are putting up on these crowdfunding platforms. Could your product be the perfect place to crowdfund? Let's take 10 minutes. Whether it be through sponsorships, grants, or crowdfunding, there are lots of opportunities for you to secure a small amount of cash in order to kickstart your business. The key to any of these things is that you've got to be willing to put yourself out there and ask. So our last piece of advice for this video is if you've got a list of potential sponsors, a couple of cool grants that might apply to you, or the opportunity to crowdfund, the difference in not having the money and getting the money is putting yourself out there and asking for the cash. So don't be nervous, because if you get a no, you're no worse off than what you were before you asked. We'll see you for our final video in our launch series, where we recap some of the important tips across the course of the videos and summarize some key pieces of advice for you before you launch your idea.